quick video on this deal that I'm kind of working on, and you'll see this is why I love the power of notes. I got old there, Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly from Back to the Future, so I just scratched out love and put notes there. Just wanted to walk through, I guess, a deal that I am working on. I actually got a note, or I'm sorry, a deal on a land deal that it looks like it may go through. And I just threw up this website today, and I had somebody reach out to me on this property, and I'll walk through the numbers for you. And this is why I just love the power of notes. This property, I'll give the address when I actually get it under contract. But these are just some of the things that I'm just kind of thinking. It has a fair market value of $95,000. I was able to purchase it for. I started out at 35%, but it is worth some money. So I did go up to about 45% on this note, or I'm sorry, on this land deal. And with that, I kind of have a couple of different. I mean, I have several different options, but two of the options that I really entertain on these deals, like either when I'm doing owner financing on properties and or land, either just to sell it outright or the offer owner financing. And if I sold it outright, typically with land, you want to sell it at about 75% of its fair market value. So I would sell it for $71,250, figuring in a realtor's commission. Yeah, I could probably sell it myself, but honestly, it's out of state. I don't want to fool with it. It's just well worth just paying a realtor to pay it. I figured in closing costs. It's a little high, but I'd rather be a little high on these values. And then I'm also figuring in if I had to use private money or my money, but I'm figuring, okay, if I use private money at 8% on this 44,000, and then and by the way, this 44,032, I also figured in closing costs on that guy too. So so it's not really like 45% of that. So I added in, I think 3% of the closing cost off of 95,000. So yeah, maybe a little high, but once again, I would just much rather have it a little high, just to kind of, if it comes in more, great, but worst case scenario. But getting back to the private money, if I borrow private money at 8%, that's going to be $3,552 a year, or $293.55 broken down. And then just, if it takes me 6 months to sell this property, I'm going to pay $1,761. But my overall profit on this guy is going to be $17,618, right? So what what you sold it for, $71,000 minus the realtor cost, minus the closing cost, minus the private money, and minus the money that you give back to your investor. You take into account all those numbers, and you walk away with $17,618. I was going to say the realtor. The private lender gets 8% return on his money or her money or their money, and you making within 6 months you're making an ROI of 96%. And if you look at that formula, you take everything that you made over what you invested, you raise that to the power of 1, divide that by the number of months that you have it out, divide that by 12 minus 1, and then that gives you the annualized rate of return. So you have to be careful with the cumulative rate of return versus the annualized rate of return. I like the annualized rate of return. That way I get a much better figure projection on if I'm looking at other things to invest my money in. And then if you see if it takes me 3 months to sell this thing, the ROI jacks up to 307%. 1 month, 7,400. But the chances of it selling at 3 months, 3 to 6 months. I mean, honestly, this area it's about 3 to 4 months. So that's why I just figure worst case scenario, I just doubled it. What happens if it takes 6 months to sell it? I'm getting a 96% return on my money, making a profit of $17,618, which is phenomenal any way you slice it, right? But if you offer owner financing, look at the dynamics on this guy. Your yield, your ROI is infinite, and I'll talk about that here. So once again, I'm just assuming a sales price of $95,000 is what I'm going to sell it for. Since you're offering owner financing, you could probably get a little bit more, maybe $105,000, because you are offering something of value. So you can command a little bit more. But in this example, I think I'm just going to keep it at $95,000. Trying to get a 10% down payment of $9,500. So I'm going to finance this, and then I also want to side note this, caveat this, that I will have a mortgage broker qualify this borrower. I will not be qualifying this borrower. I will 100% be using a mortgage broker to qualify this individual, because I want to make sure that their debt-to-income ratio looks good, their credit looks good, and just everything. And basically, I know this is land, but I just want to make sure I'm compliant with everything, because the end result that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually sell this note. That's the way that I'm going. If I happen to sell it outright, fine. But if I do owner financing, that's even better. I look at it, I have two options here. If option one comes in before option two, great. If option two comes in before option one, that's fine too. So let me get back to this. So I'm going to sell this for $95,000, down payment of $9,500. I am going to finance them at $85,500 for a term of 360 months, interest rate 9%. The principal and interest payments on this would be $687.95. And what I'm thinking is using private money on this. So at 8%, a year would be $3,552. That's based off the $44,000 that I'm going to be borrowing. So that's $293. And if I figured well, this is just figuring in like 6 months of seasoning. This has nothing to do with this, because the private investor would actually just make 8% return on his or her money. So if I am borrowing this money, so the initial profit that I want to pull out, so my goal is to sell this note. I'm going to create a note, create something of value, and then sell it on the secondary market. And that's why I want to have a mortgage broker or a lender qualify this person that I'm going to finance, so that way I can make sure once again they have really good credit score, they have the down payment, that their debt to income and everything, their employment checks out, everything looks good. So let's just say I want to pull out an initial profit of $15,000. I want to pay back my private investor his or her money of $44,032, and then I have private money on top of it of $1,761. So say it takes me 6 months to 6 months of seasoning of them making the payments and then selling this on the secondary market. So I've got this overall nut to cover of $60,793.80. So what I do is, in order to figure out, okay, I want this. What do I have? How many payments do I have to sell within the note market to cover this $60,793? And then another question is if the investor is looking for, that's going to be buying this note, are they looking for a 10% return? Are they looking for an 11% return? Are they looking for a 12% return? So let's just assume they're looking for an 11% return. I am going to have to sell 182.03 payments, which roughly comes out to about 15 years, right? So, and the beautiful part about this is a sliver of the overall pie. So there's 182 pieces of pie that I'm selling out of this 360 pieces of pie. So there's remaining 177.97 payments remaining, right? So for the next 182 payments, the note investor will get these payments. I've already made my $15,000, so I've already pulled out my $15,000. That goes into the HIP National Bank. The private lender that I borrowed the money from, he or she got their money back. They've earned an 8% return on their money, right? And then what's beautiful about this is I still have a remaining 177.97 payments were still remaining. So when you take that and you multiply that by $687, it comes out to a profit of $122,435, or not a profit, but outstanding balance is still $122,435 plus the $15,000. So my overall profit in this deal is $137,435.42. Now, this is going to the full term, assuming it's going to the full term of 30 years. But on average, typically people refinance their houses or land or whatever between seven to 10 years, right? Because there's that law of diminishing returns on that sweet spot, right? That's why a lot of people, that's why you get a lot of notifications from your banks or other lenders wanting you to refinance your loan, because the first 10 years it's all front loaded with interest, 10 to 12 years, right? And then the last part of the loan you start paying more principal. But regardless, even if they refinance this and paid me off, I'm still making money. But just assuming this thing just went to the full 360 payments, I made an overall profit of $137,435.42. And your ROI is infinite because you've already paid back. You had no money in this deal. You borrowed everything from your private lender, right? So I hope this makes sense. That's why I absolutely love the power of notes, just because it just offers a different way to crack this nut, so to speak, and make more money. And this thing will be, after the 183rd payment, this thing would revert back to me, and then I would start getting basically like a dividend, right? That this is planning for retirement, and if you do 1, if you do 2, if you do 5, if you do 15, these are little seeds that's going to be producing for you and or your children years to come. It's that I get pretty excited about this. It's a pretty powerful strategy, and I really just wanted to share that with you. And if you have any questions about this, please feel free to schedule a time with me. You can go to talkwithlarryhoffman.com and just schedule a 30-minute call, and I will 100% go over this with you and try to explain it a little bit more. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.